Hello and welcome to the Anime Happy Hour podcast. I'm Jonathan Bell and I am joined here today by Kirk Doherty.
Hello.
And Jacob Bruns.
All right.
So we are an anime podcast. We talk about everything we want to talk about anime. At the same time, we crack a beer, pour ourselves a drink, sit back and debate what we want to debate. Little disclaimer before we get started here. This is an adult podcast, so there will be swearing. There will be spoilers as far as shows are concerned. We will talk about events that are happening in a show, so here's your warning out the gate, just in case. These are also our own opinions, so don't get all salty when, we don't agree with you. Don't hit me up in the comments, And we are also a new show, so, feel us out. If you like us, stick it with us, and we'll get better as the weeks go on. So, thank you for joining us, and let's get started. I'm Jonathan Bell, and we're gonna take our time, talk a little bit about ourselves, talk about how we got into anime, how far back it went. Do we want to start with Kirk? What kind of got you into anime way back when?
I don't know, it was like robots, and then I started watching Gundam, and then Gundam led to one thing. Well, by one thing, I mean, I took the deep dive into Deadman Wonderland right after Gundam Wing, I think I watched, and I was like, oh wow, this is dark, holy shit. And then after that, I don't remember what I watched after Gundam and Deadman Wonderland. It just kind of spiraled out of control from there.
Yeah, I can say that I kind of took that deep dive into Deadman at the beginning of my career too. But what about you, Jake? What kind of got you into anime way back when?
Well, first off, obviously Dragon Ball Z and One Piece back in the day.
Well, yeah, One Piece has been around for as long as we've been alive, so
22 years? 21 years?
Yeah, it was 99, I think. 99, 97.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But anyways, so then I was in a Hot Topic at one point in high school because I really liked like skateboarding and all that, like that atmosphere type deal. And I saw like one of the pictures that, how they have the anime shirts of Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul, and I was like, that dude looks like a badass. So I found the show, watched it, and that's really what got me into anime.
Oh, so we all kind of started on a dark level as far as where we came into the game, but I mean, the obvious shonen that everybody's seen, but
yeah, I
mean, Tokyo Ghoul, Deadman Wonderland, I wouldn't exactly put in the intro anime levels for most people nowadays, but definitely great shows upon themselves.
Yeah. Well, everyone says the intro anime is Death Note, but I didn't really like Death Note until I got super into anime. I was much more into the Tokyo Ghoul, Deadman Wonderland type shit.
I actually got somebody into Death Note. That was his first anime, so I mean,
Death Note is a good one watch. Like I liked Death Note. Don't get me wrong, and I don't know if I binged it. I definitely watched a few episodes at a time, but I've never once thought, oh, I want to watch Death Note again. Most anime I've watched twice, maybe 3 times. Death Note is just not one of them.
I just feel like it's more.
Tries.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little more grounded for some people. I mean, you're not getting thrown right into the superpowers or magic or anything
harem,
too crazy or complicated.
I just think honestly, it lost my interest the first 2 times I tried to watch it when L died. And what was the other kid's name? Like N or something like that. He was not L.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a cop-out at the end. They ended it way too... they tried to rush the ending, and this kid just is omniscient and knows everything that's going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, why don't we jump into some things? What are we all drinking tonight? What's our drink of choice?
I've got Japanese beer, Sapporo, and a shot of Jägermeister.
On a Wednesday night too.
Yep.
I've got Michter's Barrel Select 10-year whiskey.
All right. Well, now you're just making me seem all boring with a beer here, but
Well, what beer is
it's
it?
alcohol nonetheless. So,
Yeah, I mean, we always need one boring person in the party.
well, might as well be the host, right?
Exactly.
All right. So, our first topic at hand. What have we all been watching this past week and more recently? What are we keeping up with?
I mean, if we're gonna be mainstream, I've been watching that my favorite Slime Boy Rimuru, which is getting pretty heated. That anime has just been building up and getting better and better over time.
Oh yeah, and they're just kind of throwing you little feelers every single episode of what's coming, but then they just kind of blue ball you and leave you hanging every week.
Yeah, but they give you a little bit of something every week, so it's not terrible.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I just hope it all pans out and is everything we expect it to be.
I mean, it's got. I mean,
Usually
yes
is. I mean,
yeah,
they're pretty good about that, but
it's a fan service anime. I mean, I hate to say it, but yeah, it is, which isn't always a bad thing.
I still haven't seen it, Kirky. Would you suggest? Is it the type of show where I should drop what I'm watching and start it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all right. So here's the thing, right? Like the first 2 or 3 episodes is a lot of build up, and it doesn't accomplish a whole lot. Like mid-season is when that anime became like, holy cow, this is amazing to me. Of like the first season, yeah. Now we're, I think, what are we on? Season 3, kind of, or season 2?
now we're still second half of season 2.
Okay,
They split it.
Yep.
But it's cool because they do some callbacks in season 2 to a lot of stuff that happened in the beginning of the show that you didn't know if it was going to actually come back or not. Which a lot of shows don't necessarily do. So it's cool that they kind of run it back with characters and the interlining like plot lines going on throughout the whole show. So I definitely feel like you'll like it, Jakey. It's your type of show. You kind of just got to push yourself into watching it, get through those first few episodes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like a 5 episodes before I give up kind of guy, but I don't know. It's been in my queue for forever. I just never like. I've seen YouTube videos and it looks badass. It's just I'm the typical type of person who hasn't watched it because I can't imagine a slime being dope.
Oh, he's
everybody.
freaking...
They make fun of that in the show too all the time. So
yeah, I mean that's part of it.
What about you, Jakey? What have you been up to? What are you watching?
Well, as you guys know, and I'm gonna preach it probably till the day I die, I've been watching Tokyo Revengers.
Oh yeah, you got me catching back up into it too. So
Jakey, I was on board with you. My opinion is slowly changing of that show, just because I'm realizing certain like fatal flaws in that show that ruined it for me.
And what are those flaws?
So, Takamichi, right? He's a first year, second year, or something like that. And
he's a second year in middle school.
Yeah.
So he's like 15.
Yep. And so
15.
all the other gang members are just third years, right?
Yeah.
They look like they're fucking 30 years old, and he's still like actually looking like a second year, 12-year-old kid. All the other guys.
That's every single anime ever. Don't even see them act like
that's real life too, dude. Look at yourself in middle school and John.
Yeah, but they're all like 30 years old. How fucking Draken has a tattoo chilling on his head.
I grew up playing football in Texas, dude. Everyone had tattoos and looked like 30-year-old men at 15, 14 years old.
I guess. And then the other,
like...
the kicker for me though is like, what is stopping him from just telling her like, hey, don't be here on this day at this time. Just avoid it. Like,
they talked about that in the beginning, didn't they?
I don't think they do.
I don't know.
This is
We'll
where
take a deep dive into this show at some point throughout the our show's continuation, but you know, we don't want to do too deep of a dive into all these shows before we really get going.
Yeah,
We got our own stuff to talk
hold
about
on.
throughout the.
Let's just put a bookmark into that point Kirky made, because when we ever attack this, that was a good point that I want to talk about.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it'll come up on a few lists and a few other shows, or podcast shows too, as we go along. But all right, so we'll move into our next topic, our random fun fact of the day, or of the week, I should say. Did you guys know that according to a 2004 document from Japan trade organization, that anime films and television shows account for 60% of the world's animation-based environment? Almost 40 schools in Japan have declared anime as an individual subject of its own. Anime voice acting is also a huge aspect of the Japan culture, and Japan also has around 130 voice acting schools, and more paper is printed for manga than toilet paper in Japan. That's honestly one of the craziest fun facts for me.
So I didn't know that, but I definitely believe it. You know what I mean? I can definitely understand.
I mean, toilet paper though.
What about toilet paper?
There's more pages printed for manga in Japan than there is toilet paper.
Yeah, but think about it
believe
like
it.
this.
Well,
If you're going out to buy One Piece, you're buying like tens of volumes at a time, right? Each one has 200 pages in it.
they also
Your toilet paper lasts like weeks.
Oh, wait, I have a more valid point here. Don't forget, they don't really use toilet paper. Bidet, but whatever. The thing that
Bidet?
sprays your butt is more common there than toilet paper.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, coming from the U.S., I guess we think about it a little differently. We're not as efficient. I
Yeah,
guess.
because we go through half a fucking roll a day.
Yeah, well,
And One Piece just passed Batman for like the most sold comic book series. It's like number 2 right behind Superman of all time.
Oh, wow.
it's kind of crazy. Well, we'll get into our big debate of the day. Our episode premise, the subbed versus dubbed debate. And I want to play devil's advocate in the middle here because I kind of play both sides of the field. But I know that you guys are kind of split. One of you is going to take the subbed and one of you is going to take the dubbed premise and kind of run with it. Who's taking subbed?
Oh, I'm taking subbed.
Oh, you're taking subbed? All right,
Oh,
Jakey's got
absolutely.
dubbed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, as we just mentioned, there's thousands of voice actors. Well, not thousands, but there's hundreds of voice actors in popular anime in Japan, which don't get me wrong, there is a lot of the same voice actors in different shows. But when you bring it over to dubbed, like, there's like 5 or 10 voice actors that you see in every single dubbed anime that exists in English. And
The only thing I will say is that it's growing a lot more in the U.S. I mean, a lot of bigger studios are in the process of buying out all these
and the other
platforms and pushing it.
Yeah, and the other thing is you're recreating a voice. Like, you're kind of just looking for somebody to translate. Well, not necessarily translate, but just to do a voiceover on a character that's already had a voice selected, like handpicked. Like, the Japanese anime studios and stuff are looking for voice actors the same way that directors look for actors. Like, they want to match that voice perfectly to that character design, and they don't want it to be different. Whereas, like, you got Goku in the dub sounding like he's 5 years old.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, some people actually prefer the U.S. I mean, the dubbed stuff for Dragon Ball Z over. Some people
Yeah, I
say
definitely do.
Yeah. Speaking of those people, I think we got Jake. You want to talk about dub, buddy?
Well, as far as Dragon Ball Z is concerned, Hold on, I want to preface everything I say after this point by saying it. I prefer dub, but I also love sub, and typically the way I watch shows is I watch the sub when it comes out, and then I watch the dub a couple weeks later when it comes out. But anyways, so with Dragon Ball Z, and this kind of goes into a lot of the older shows, I prefer the dub regardless of how Goku sounds, because, coming home after school on Wednesdays when I was a kid and watching Dragon Ball Z, it was dubbed. And so that's how I watched it as a kid. That's how I watch it now. It's the nostalgia aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you there. I mean, I was the same way. Like with Toonami, when Toonami was a big thing, that was my thing growing up, was listening to or watching Toonami, because that was the only big anime streaming platform as far as cable TV was concerned. Started at midnight on Cartoon Network, and you always stay up all night on a Saturday night just to watch the shows that you never had the money to go try to find online or pay for a subscription or buy manga, whatever it may be. You had like the original Naruto shows and old Dragon Ball Z, like Kai and all that stuff before Super became a thing. But I guess the big thing too, the big debate has always been, dubs so far behind depending on the studio. Some of these newer studios, like smaller studios, they are weeks or months behind when you come to new episodes to try to dub and put it back out for people. So there's always that debate of, you're never going to be up to date or going to be able to watch it week to week. And
well, Funimation is pretty good about that.
Yeah.
If they don't have it the week of, they have it a week or two later.
Yeah, I get you. Like I said, it's come a long way from where...
why dubs are so slow to come out sometimes, though, right? Especially on the less popular anime. Like, the reason the dubs take longer to get is because especially, like, when, like I said, if it's a less popular anime, like, it's because there's only so many voice actors for doing dubs that it's not that easy for them to...
And I'm sure all the licensing and everything to try to, to get those voice actors, and, you have to clear licensing for certain episodes, and...
Yeah, everything I've heard is about licensing. I went to film school, like, right next to the big, like, epicenter of Funimation, and had a teacher that did a couple voices for, like, extras in, like, Full Metal Alchemist and Conan and all that shit. And a lot of times it's all because you got to get licensed to be able to dub over the Japanese shows from, like, the whatever it's called, studios.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, I know a lot of people, I started out with dubbed because it is a very introductory type thing to get into anime. Because not everybody is going to want to just try to read it every time they first try to get into it. That's how I was. Watching Bleach or Dead Man Wonderland or Naruto or everything else, By the time I got into, or One Piece, by the time you get into them, there are so many episodes that have already come out that are dubbed that you can watch all this dub stuff before you get to the point. And I think that's kind of what's transitioned me over into subbed, was the fact that those shows that I wanted to watch or wanted to catch up on that weren't dubbed yet. So I kind of forced myself. But then I did start leading towards that sub side of the fence. But I watch a lot of dubs too.
Just to give you an idea, I'm pretty sure the same, I forget his name,
Chris Sabat?
Yes, probably Chris Sabat, yeah. He did Piccolo, Vegeta, Shenron. How many characters from Dragon Ball Z did he voice?
I don't know, he did All Might too, and I'm pretty sure he's Zoro.
In One Piece, yeah. but he's one of the most popular ones. But I'm seeing his name a little less and less as time goes on. So I mean, sucks for him, but I mean, I personally see it as a good thing. I mean, anime is becoming more and more popular in the United States, and as time goes on and there's more voice actors, I think maybe I'll warm up to dubs a little bit. But I think I've always watched subs, and I think that's always going to be my go-to. I'm getting my younger brother.
I mean, even Netflix. I mean, Netflix has kind of turned that tide as far as, you know, dubbed shows go, because they're going straight into dubbed, and they have their own anime studio at this point.
Netflix is pretty good about having both. You just have to know to switch.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have a lot of the shows that have already come out or have already been subbed. But as far as the Netflix studio shows that are produced by them, usually come out dubbed to kind of appeal to that U.S. market that they always have.
Yeah.
Like all of their new Netflix shows, produced by them, I should say. But they actually just announced today, too, that Cartoon Network and Adult Swim and one other studio was starting their own anime studio, too, to bring stuff to, you know, the mainstream media as far as new anime shows are concerned.
I mean,
so their own
I'd rather
anime studio, as in they're gonna create anime.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which would be sweet.
Interesting.
And you know what? Here's the thing. Anime, in my opinion, is specific to Japanese culture, and it can only be produced in Japan. I think it's the same way that we view whiskey. Like, for instance, you get bourbon, and bourbon doesn't come from anywhere other than the United States. I mean, you have, like, what is it? Primarily Kentucky that bourbon's supposed to come from or something? I don't remember, but...
Texas as well.
Yeah, but you get different kinds of bourbon, but it's only in the United States. Whereas Scotch, it's still whiskey, but Scotch comes from, what, Scotland? I don't remember. But
yeah,
regardless.
Scotland.
And Irish whiskey only comes from, you guessed it, Ireland. Like, I think...
Yeah, and Canadian whiskey.
I think anime is just one of those things, like, it has to be from Japan, and it has to be centered around Japanese culture. However, that being said, I'd still love to see more adult animation be encouraged, because I think it's a lot more... I personally watch animated shows more than I watch real life shows. I mean, real life shows just don't do it for me anymore, because there's not like, you can do so much more with an animation. Your creative side is just brought out so much more, and your like the whole fantasy aspect of it is just way more. We also
think about what we grew up on too. I mean, we grew up on what? SpongeBob, Rugrats, Ed, Ed and Eddie, Codename Kids Next Door.
Yeah.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Exactly.
And
Rest in Peace, Muriel.
OG Teen Titans. And now we have fucking Teen Titans Go!
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah. It's
fucking... the little stepchild of the group. But, Warner Brothers Animation and Cartoon Network Studios to start producing anime under Jason DeMarco.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's exciting. But
anyways, back to the sub versus dub deal. I will say, on John's point earlier about One Piece, I do agree with what you were saying. The thing that also got me into starting to watch subs was I watched One Piece up to Fishman Island, where they had stopped the sub, and they just recently restarted it. Or stop the dub, and I was like, well, I can't just sit here with my, twiddling my fingers. I need to finish this show, because it's, in my opinion, we could probably get into this later, One Piece is the greatest story ever told. But, so I watched the rest of the show and subbed, and, during those hundreds of episodes, got used to it, and now I watch all shows, both subbed and dubbed. But I will say, just I don't have like good arguments, because I like sub, but when you watch dub, it's like, I watch a lot of new shows sub, but if I want to lay down before I go to bed, or like watch something that I can fall asleep to, I'll turn on dub because I don't have to pay 100% attention to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can kind of just be
There's
there.
a little bit of ease in
Ambient
watching the
noise.
show. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, like you with One Piece, Bleach was my big kicker into the subbed world.
Yeah.
I mean, because they were the same way. They had a ton of episodes, and I'm sure Bleach will come up later on too. I'm still upset about that, but we'll see about that.
Well, hold on. What are you upset about?
How long it's taken. I finished
Oh,
that.
really?
I finished that show so long ago. Just bring me the only good arc that's about to come out.
Just be glad it's coming back at all. It was iffy for a long time.
I know. I mean, that was. I remember I used to get. Kirk was in English class with me. I used to get in trouble all the time because I would just not do my work and just watch anime on my phone.
You're
Get
just
yelled
sitting
at
there
by-
watching Bleach. Every class I was in with you, AP Euro, Stats, English, any class I was... Dude, can I tell you the number of times I watched your ass get your iPad taken away?
It's fine. I just used my phone after that.
Yeah, and then...
I wasn't the student for a reason. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, you're welcome for your
saved
grades,
me a few
buddy.
$100,000 college, but Jake knows all too well.
Yeah, well,
Hey, you know.
it's just one of those things.
But, I mean, I'm sure we can all agree, too, at the same time that I think we're both sides of the fence as far as subs and dubs are concerned. You know, we're kind of both, all of us are glad
Yeah.
that it's becoming more of a recognized thing in culture
Definitely.
as
But
far
Yeah.
as...
here's my other qualm with it, is that, like, you're also taking away from the fact that it's an anime if you translate it, in my opinion. Because here's the thing, like, you also have, like, I mean, I guess, like, I guess we're probably the most monolingual country in the world, but in Japan, they're probably sitting there watching The Simpsons subbed, or, I mean, like, if they're watching The Simpsons dubbed, like, that's going to be significantly different. Like, could you imagine watching The Simpsons subbed or dubbed? I'm losing the point
I
I'm
can
trying
tell
to
you
make.
they.
Dubbed for them, yeah.
I can tell you they do both.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of like YouTube videos about like Japanese people reacting to like American stuff, and they both do subbed and dubbed. Like I watched the whole video of a girl watching Lord of the Rings dubbed, and I agree. Now that I'm listening to like a movie in my own language that's dubbed in a different language, it doesn't quite fit.
Mhm.
But still, that's the best way for her to absorb that content.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, if it brings like I said, I mean, you're always going to need dubbed too at the same time. I mean, you're always going to have those people who are pro-subbed and going to somewhat be the elitist of the anime consumer. But at the same time, it helps bring new people or other people or just people who want to enjoy anime, for the animation itself, for the
Yeah.
storyline, for whatever it may be.
And
It
that
brings them into that niche. And I mean, I'm kind of, like I said, I mean, I'm willing to bet all of us came into it watching dubbed.
No, I didn't.
And-
I actually didn't.
Well, I mean, majority, I mean, I'd say
Yeah.
a lot of people that I know did come into, the anime world watching dubbed because it's easy to guide yourself into. And then usually you can deep dive if you're really into it, but bringing new people or just anybody in general into the world is kind of nice, It's good to have, and I'm glad that we were able to at least have the technology to do it in the first place. Who would have thought? I mean, I'm willing to bet people wouldn't have even thought 20 years ago, even when One Piece started, for up until the 70s, 80s, it was illegal to get anything with captions on it or any sort of translation, because it was strictly overseas stuff, and it had to be illegally pirated or downloaded and this and that. And so now, 30, 40 years, I mean, that's why it came into the U.S. it was illegally pirated and put on VHSs.
No, I don't think that's entirely true, because Studio Ghibli was still extremely popular in the United States in the 80s and 90s.
No, in the 70s when, like, shows first came into, you know, because I remember listening to a whole, the start of Anime in the U.S. podcast, and they had talked about the whole premise and then the studios coming to the U.S. and the problems they came across.
Okay.
I mean, Studio Ghibli was a huge, I mean, that doesn't cover all of the different shows that had come out at the time still. I mean, Trigun is old. Lupin the Third. I mean, those are all shows that came out even before One Piece. And, you know, they weren't always accessible. I mean, we didn't have high-speed internet like we do now. Back then for people to access it. So it was always burned onto VHS tapes, and like your old pornos hiding in the back of the cabinet there.
Oh boy.
I'm sure your dad, you can find your dad's old ones on VHS every once in a while, you know?
Oh jeez, no. I don't think
My version of that was American Pie when I was 5 years old on VHS.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dude, the movie I decided to watch fucking petrified me when I was a child. I found Signs when I was little. The one with the aliens that, like, if they touched you, they poisoned you and killed you or whatever. Yeah. I was scared to go outside after that one, especially anywhere near a cornfield.
Yeah, feel that. But, I mean, I don't know if you can put either of them on a pedestal as far as who's superior to who.
I don't think either's superior. It definitely depends on the person. But if you're into anime enough and you watch anime long enough, I feel like you can vibe with both. Just depends on the show, honestly, and who, like Kirky's been all about, who they get to voice act.
Yeah.
Because I will say, as a dub enthusiast, some dubs are just god awful.
Dubs, yeah.
I'll extend that olive branch. Some of them are just terrible.
Oh, you know what dubs I find to be absolutely awful? Even the subs are bad. Is any of the Korean anime or Korean adult animated shows, like, I find their subs and their dubs to just be terribly translated 90% of the time.
What shows are you talking about? Because we're entering dangerous territory with me here. I love Korean shit.
Hold on.
That's Jakey's niche there.
You talking about Tower of God?
No, Tower of God was fine, but that's because Crunchyroll took that over. Oh.
There wasn't anything before Tower of God.
For Korean anime?
Well, that's the first manhwa that was turned into an anime. As far as I know. I mean, there's like animated shows, but no anime.
Trying to think of it. I'll Google it real quick. I don't remember.
Oh, and in Korea, they dub Japanese anime. Hate to say it.
Into Korean.
Yep.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. What's the one that I watched recently? Oh, they have it on.
While you're thinking of that, side note, Stray Kids' new comeback comes out on October 23rd. No Easy. Look them up.
Which one?
Carry on. That was a K-pop plug.
I was going to say a little bit of a plug there, you know?
That's not what I wanted. Alright, you guys go ahead and talk. I gotta find this, because now it's gonna bug me.
One show that I will say that I just hate the dubbing for was My Hero.
Really? I love the dubbing for My Hero.
if you do a side by side on just the grammar alone, from like in the translation, it just does not fit at all. I mean, the way All Might structures the sentence as far as when it's dubbed to when it's subbed, it just doesn't flow.
Well, that's just whoever wrote it, because they both were technically translated, and whoever was translating the sub translated it better, obviously. But I once again got into My Hero with the dub, and so I love the dub voices, especially All Might's. Shout out Chris Sabat.
I was gonna say.
But once it got to like the point where I was caught up and watching the new seasons, I don't remember if it was season 4 or season 3. It was probably season 3, where it started out, the dub was coming out day of, and then it pushed it back 2 weeks, so then I started watching the sub, and I like the sub a lot too, but a lot of this, it's like, if you start with the dub, then you know those characters' voices as the dub voices. But if you start with the sub, then that's what you know the voices as. And then when you switch, it just feels awkward. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I know what show I was thinking of, and it's not Korean. It's actually Chinese, and it was The Daily Life of the Immortal King, which had some of the worst translations I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, but were those probably weren't official translations, because that show's not officially translated as far as I know. It's fucking badass though.
It was on Netflix. The story.
I watched it on YouTube, I think.
The story was just so. It needs an official translation because there's not a good one.
Yeah.
Like it has.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It was so bad.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure we've all been there. I mean, we've all used those third-party websites to watch our anime, and like some of the characters, like the letters aren't even translated; they're just random symbols.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't. They just use the voice character,
Yeah.
closed captioning, and it never properly shows up.
They just they just turn on Google Translate and go, that's what we're gonna do.
It just skips over a whole paragraph.
Hey, you know what? Those are the real heroes. Those are the heroes that got me through high school and college when I couldn't afford Crunchyroll or Funimation.
Yeah, exactly. Or Netflix. Netflix wasn't even in the game in high school for us, but I mean, Netflix was still getting out of the DVD game at that point. But
yeah.
I got two things to say. One of them is a pretty crazy sidebar, not a crazy, but about Netflix. But the first one is we need to have on one of these topics in future episodes just a segment on like Chinese anime, like because Immortal King is dope. Besides the translation, the King's Avatar is dope. Stuff like that.
They did a live action remake of that on Netflix too.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that because it scares me.
It's about as bad as every other live action animation.
Oh my goodness. There's never
the Netflix live action tag. I hope they don't fuck up One Piece for people who think I don't really want to watch 1,000 episodes. Maybe I'll watch this live action one first and see if I like it. I really hope that's not the case.
Well, is it going to be considered canon? Or are they going on their own rant like the other movies have? I mean, the other movies haven't been canon, really.
I would imagine they would go canon. If they don't, they're idiots.
Well,
One Piece has a great story.
The other movies haven't been exactly canon. I mean,
I haven't watched
side stories.
I haven't watched any besides the Tokyo Ghoul, and that one wasn't bad.
Yeah, we won't talk about the last season of Tokyo Ghoul. We kind of discard that from the premise of the show.
I was in film school at TCU when the last season of Tokyo Ghoul came out. Having read the entire manga, they like doubled how many chapters should go into one season with that. You said we weren't going to talk about it, but I'm getting it out fast. I'm talking fast. And so I'm in fucking directing classes and cinematography classes, right? And then I watch that, and literally every single shot is just moving right to left of a character standing still and talking.
Yeah, yeah. They just did our boy Kaneki wrong there and just completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They fucked RE, dude, and RE is so good in the manga. I know people have qualms about Season 2. I like Season 2 a lot because I watched it before I read the manga. But anyways, my second point that I was going to make earlier just about Netflix was, I remember back when Blockbuster was still a thing, like seeing those commercials on TV about like Netflix before it became streaming, where you could like order DVDs online and they would mail them to you.
Yeah, that's how it was.
And just thinking to myself, why the fuck would I order a DVD online and wait 3 days for it to get to me when I could just drive down the street to Netflix Blockbuster and pick one up immediately, and then look at what Netflix is now and Blockbuster.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's like GameFly. That came in so
exactly.
damn quickly. I mean,
What's GameFly?
they're still a thing. Yeah, exactly.
GameFly is still a thing?
Yeah, I still see ads every once in a while. They're still trying to hold on for dear life. I don't know if anybody still uses them, but there's no commercials on TV anymore. I remember all the commercials for a long time.
Yeah, I do too. Once again, why would I wait 3 or 4 days for my fucking game to come in when I could go to GameStop and buy it immediately?
Well, yeah.
Or go to Redbox if you just plan on beating it in a few days. I mean,
Yeah.
Redbox does video game rentals at this point.
Or even fucking Blockbuster sold video games. That's where I bought Dragon Ball Budokai 3.
Yeah, what? They went up to 360? I mean, because they weren't there that long.
Blockbuster still exists?
There is one Blockbuster in Oregon.
Is it Oregon? I thought it was like Alaska
Yeah.
or something.
Nah, well, I mean, Oregon's pretty close, but it's in Oregon.
No disrespect to the Oregoners, but yeah.
Well, I mean, that would be like not disrespecting, but overestimating, because Alaska is dope.
Sure, it's on my bucket list. But
I lived there when I was younger, and it was awesome. The snow plows made a huge mountain in the middle of the cul-de-sac. It was a little kid's wet dream.
yeah,
Nice.
I mean, I feel that. Now we're fighting for snow, but all right. Do we want to have some final thoughts as far as our debate goes?
I guess my final thought would be everybody should be looking out for Rising of the Shield Hero. Next season is coming out pretty soon.
Nope, they just delayed that until April 2022.
We just talked about this, John.
Yeah, we just talked about this earlier. So don't look out for it too soon.
Well,
I literally looked last night, like on Crunchyroll, the website, like the dub or one of the dubs is listed as season 2. I was like, oh shit, it's out. Then I looked and it wasn't.
Yeah. But I will say there is a new season of what is it? Don't mind me. Continue, Kirkland.
well, on that note, I guess just kind of hearing that kind of put me in a bummed out mood because that was one of my favorite anime. However, I will say it's not taking the cake over Slime for me. I still like Slime more than Shield Hero.
You like Slime more than Shield Hero?
Yes, I do. Undeniably. Like,
Alright, I'll tell you what, Kirky. Based on that statement right there, when we finish this, I will turn it on and I will watch Slime, the entire first season, before we record next week.
alright, sounds good, Jakey.
And then we're going to come back to that statement right there.
Alright.
Slime's had some more time to grow, too. I mean, Shield Hero is still a short show, and
Yeah, that's why I'm only watching the first season.
Yeah. I mean, how many episodes does Slime have? It doesn't have too many.
Doesn't it have like
has
24?
More than 42.
I'm talking first season.
Season 1 is
First season,
24.
Yeah.
Yeah, 24, so just 2 behind Shield Hero.
Yeah. Oh, I guess there's 42 total. What do you know? And then there's like 3 OVAs.
Yeah.
Alright.
Do you guys watch OVAs? I find OVAs annoying.
Or even the 3.5s, the recaps. No.
Yeah.
See, so here's the thing. Slime ruined OVAs for me. Now I watch every OVA because the ones for that time I got reincarnated as a slime are significant to the story while also not being necessarily a part of the main plot. It explains background detail for a lot of characters, and it's like, shit, this is good. Oh, there's actually a spin-off series of that time I got reincarnated as a slime. It's called The Slime Diaries. Those aren't worth watching.
I saw that.
Those are kind of silly.
But
They're not...
they did that with Titans, too. Attack on Titans.
Yeah, but that was
like
a...
the junior high.
Yeah. Well, that's not what they did for Slime. Slime, they just basically did, like, summer vacation edition, like...
Yeah, it's like what the fillers would have been for most of the other shonen shows.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up on so many shonen shows that it kind of turned me off from OVAs.
Naruto.
I just assumed they were the same thing. Bleach is 10 times worse than Naruto.
Yeah, that's true.
I gotta say, when I watched Naruto was the first big anime I ever watched. An anime with fillers, right? I watched it my freshman year of college. It's the reason I failed chemistry. Just grinded through that shit. Sorry, whoever has a problem with this on Kiss Anime. And, I had no idea. That was like right after I watched Tokyo Ghoul. That was like the biggest thing I got into after that. And I had no idea what fillers were. So half the time I was watching the fucking show, I'm sitting here like, you know, most of this show slaps, but this shit just doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
Yeah.
And then I find out about fillers when I'm watching One Piece, and it makes complete sense.
I'd say...
Yeah, Bleach was that bad.
I would argue that Bleach was 50% filler.
They had filler
It
seasons.
is.
They had
Yeah,
filler
when I watched Bleach, I skipped the fillers, so I had to skip like 40 episodes at a time or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, back then I didn't really know the difference, so it was, I mean, because I watched it
However,
way back when. But
so you know what? What's worse though? Filler episodes are fights that last 20 episodes. I'm looking at you, One Piece.
yeah, I was gonna
Hold
say.
on. Hold on. Get fucked, Kirky. One Piece fights are amazing regardless of how long they last. They last that long for a reason.
You know what? I like watching.
I don't know. They fill half the episode with stuff that doesn't need. Like,
Name a fight.
recaps.
Dude,
No. I'm
you
not
can-
saying a fight necessarily, but they fill half an episode. I mean, I skipped the first 7 minutes of the episode because it's between the recap from the episode before and the intro and the other, screenshots. There's you're looking at like 14 minutes of an episode by the time you're all said and done.
Here's all I have
No
to
wonder
say
why it's
about that.
1,000 episodes. Let me tell you that.
Here's all I have to say about that. It cuts between the other fights going on, because when One Piece fights happen, they all happen at the same fucking time. But, that fight with Katakuri lasted 40-something episodes or some shit like that. It is the greatest fight in One Piece, regardless of how long it lasts.
Yeah.
Go on YouTube and watch that whole thing straight through. It is by far phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that. I mean,
Well,
I'm
here's-
a One Piece fan.
hang
I'm
on.
just saying.
But here's the thing, is that
There's not many things I get touchy on, boys, but when it's One Piece and Tower of God, I'm going to be touchy. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I just... but here's the thing. Sometimes in One Piece, not all the time, but sometimes it'll be like a 10-episode fight, and there'll be an episode every now and then that, like, there's 2 punches thrown. It's just like, this was great, and then it's just all dialogue in between. Don't get me wrong, One Piece has a phenomenal story, but there's just an episode here and there that it's just like, was this really necessary? This is kind of dumb. This is basically a filler episode.
All right, I'll throw you an olive branch. That does happen.
Do we legitimately think we could have condensed the 1,000 episodes at this point into a little bit less? I mean, just about every show has their recap episode for the most part. Not every show has every episode. Every show, I mean, they fill the episode with actual episode. But I mean, when you put in like 6 or 7 minutes into every episode in the beginning, just before you even get to where you left off in the last episode, it's a lot of time to make up. I mean, that you could be filling it with other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, if it was, let me put it this way: if that 7 minutes was covering a whole span of time, like the whole season and where they left off, then okay. But you're covering 7 minutes worth of the episode that was only 14 minutes long in the last episode. So, I mean, do I think that there could be a little bit more to it? Yes.
Here's what I'm saying.
And I feel like
to
a
that.
lot of the newer shonen got a little bit better about that. I mean, they condensed stuff a little bit more with still having a solid story. But One Piece has its, I'm going to bash every single show. So, I love One Piece. I've always watched One Piece. I'm caught up on every episode of One Piece. So, I'm not going to say it's bad. I like the One Piece story.
Mm-hmm.
But there's aspects of it that you can skip through, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I am. You know when the teapot is almost to the point where it starts screaming at you?
Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm at that. I'm at that point.
We're just gonna hit the
Boys.
mute button on Jakey.
Boys, I'm not gonna go off right now. One of these days we'll cover One Piece and we can talk about all this.
I mean, with the amount of shows, we can cover about 6 episodes of fucking One Piece.
Yeah, One Piece is the greatest story ever told. You want to know why? Because it's got 1,000 fucking episodes.
With about 700 episodes worth of detail.
I don't know, Jakey.
Did you say 700 episodes worth of detail? Because the detail is the fucking point.
Well, maybe too much detail.
There's never too much detail. The One Piece has the most detailed, intricate story and plot of all time. Because it has 1,000 episodes, it was able to do that, to lay out the world building and everything.
Wait, can we talk about the plot of One Piece and how it's just to get the One Piece?
Oh my god, Kirky, are you even caught up, dude?
Yes.
Obviously, you're trolling me, aren't
Oh,
you?
absolutely.
It's kind of sad at the same time, though, because I see posted up on the internet all the time, like, I've been alive for so long, I've watched One Piece for 21 years, and I literally have, like, weeks to live, and I'm never going to see the end of One Piece.
Yeah, I just saw that the other day, yeah. I feel bad for him, my man. I mean, lay him down with the going merry, but... Oh, man.
If I put 20-something years into a show and I still didn't get to see the end...
It doesn't matter, dude, because during those 20 years you became a Nakama. You're part of the fucking crew after 20 years, dude. You were on the journey with them. Although you didn't get to the One Piece, you contributed.
Yeah, you died in the grand line there.
Exactly. And Luffy's gonna get the fucking One Piece in your name. Because that's how he cares about his friends.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Right.
oh.
Well, before we get too deep dive into One Piece here,
Do we want?
do you have any
Wait, do we?
any final statements for Shaky as far as subs concerned?
Can I just make one bash real quick on the topic of friendship?
Oh no! because Jakey's
Don't talk
gonna
about
go-
Fairy
Oh,
Tail, dude.
dude, look, that just that's the joke right there. You just all I had to say was friendship, and you said fairy tale. Good, done. Conversation's over. I'm glad we
Dude,
had that.
Fairy
conversation.
Tail was the biggest bullshit of all time because every single fight or every single episode it was like, I'm doing this because of my friends. My friends are why I can do this. I was like, I get it. Just fucking throw a punch. Different show, though. It's not One Piece.
Oh my god! You know how much hate mail I'm gonna get.
Fairy tale.
That's why I had to say this is our opinions, and well, Jakey's definitely got his own opinions. So
Yeah, it's anime happy hour. Once I get going, I get going.
I think we're all feeling pretty
see
good.
how I call it for you. Do you have any final comments there, Jakey? And now that we've gone on a whole tangent about not even subbed or stubbed anymore.
Well, like I said in the beginning, I really like Sub. I watch a lot of shows subbed, but I started on dubbed. Dubbed is what got me into anime. And if I'm gonna watch a show, I'm first gonna look for dub. You know what I mean? It's easier to watch for me. I can fully enjoy everything. I have no problem watching it subbed. But if I watch it subbed, when the dub comes out, I'm watching the dub. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's that. I mean, the fact that we have so many people nowadays that are, getting into it, people that you never really thought. I mean, it was one of those things that people made fun of you for when you were, younger. And now, and you got famous people, pro sports players, everybody, It's become such a big thing nowadays. Whether it's good or bad, one way or another.
Well, here's what I gotta say about people bashing, like, us as kids, as anime viewers. If anyone in the entire world says that they didn't watch Dragon Ball Z, mainly men, but a lot of women did too, didn't watch Dragon Ball Z as a kid, they're either lying or they didn't watch Cartoon Network.
That's true.
I didn't have a TV.
Yeah. Some shit like that. People that weren't into Dragon Ball Z have some fucking bullshit excuse like that. Everyone watched it. That's an anime. So everyone likes anime.
Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean...
Yu-Gi-Oh! Exactly. Pokemon.
Pokemon, growing up, even if you played the cards, technically,
And another one of those...
Yeah, well...
I know
I have a lot of funny stories about the cards, but we'll talk about that another time.
I know a shitload of people that watch Naruto, too. Naruto is pretty mainstream.
Yeah, everybody started getting into Naruto. Yeah, huge mainstream. Original Naruto, not Shippuden.
Mm-hmm.
But... Alright, boys. So, do we have a show or two that we want to put on our recommendation list for our listeners? One or two shows from each of us. Maybe something that somebody hasn't heard of, or, not the mainstream shonen stuff, or...
Yeah, sure.
One of the big shows.
I do. I got two. So, on the topic of foreign anime that are a little bit different, I would recommend Kwanzi Fashi. I don't know if I pronounced it right, but it's Quanzhi, and then Fashi is Fashi. It's about like a...
Is that Chinese?
It's a phenomenal question, probably. I don't know. It's one of those ones that has terrible subs, but it's a great, like, underdog anime about a kid that, like, oh, I don't have magic. Oh, wait, I do have magic. I'm the best mage ever. Spoiler, sorry guys. But I'd recommend that one. And then my favorite non-action based anime of all time, I'll preach this until the day I die. Everybody should be watching Ancient Magus Bride at some point in their life.
Even the few scenes that are in Ancient Magus Bride that are action are spectacularly made.
Yeah, you guys have been preaching that to me for a long time. I'll have to watch it.
It's a really good slice of life slash,
art-wise, I don't know if I have seen an anime with art as good as that one.
Yeah, it's just really...
Compare it to Demon Slayer. Is it better than Demon Slayer?
I
Yes.
really do think, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's on a different level. I mean,
It's
Demon
just...
Slayer is a lot of action-based,
Yeah.
that type of, like, action movement animation. But, like, this is just very, like, pretty scenery and the way that the characters are acted out and drawn. It's very...
I think an accurate depiction of Ancient Magus Bride would be modern-day Studio Ghibli movie.
Yeah, there are a lot of colors and movement, like, stuff going on. Yeah,
let me stop you guys right there. I'm going to say something that if we get fans, I'll probably get hate for. I've never seen a Studio Ghibli movie.
That's fine. A lot of people have.
We might have to do a link up here and just do a big old movie night, watching party or something.
Yeah, I'm down for
Maybe
that.
we can stream it on Twitch or something. We all, we'll link up and
But
stream it on YouTube or Twitch.
You've never seen like
Jakey's watching party.
You've never seen like Spirited Away or like Kiki's Delivery Service?
Nope. My Neighbor Totoro.
No, I've never really been into movies.
Howl's Moving
Princess
Castle,
Mononoke.
Ponyo.
And when I was in film school, everyone was talking about them, but I just was like if I sat down and I was like, I'm gonna watch a Studio Ghibli movie, and then I'd turn on like Funimation or whatever platform I would go on to watch it, I'd see something else and watch that first.
Oh, dude, it's Studio Ghibli is great. Just don't watch Grave of the Fireflies. It's just don't.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jakey, you got any recommendations?
Well, Kirky had two. What was the other one, Kirky?
Kwanzi Fashi, I already said.
Oh. Well, regardless of my idiocy, I do have two as well. These, I don't know if they're mainstream, but they're probably definitely well known. First one, Psycho Pass.
Yeah, that's a great movie. Or show, I should say.
Yeah. It has one movie. I love...
First season.
Like, yeah, well, I didn't watch the third season yet, but the second season, I don't know. I don't remember if the second season was the movie or if there was an actual second season. The first season, yeah, you can't beat it. The villain was dope. But anyways, my favorite genre of all time out of anything is cyberpunk. And this is like the perfect... It takes that cyberpunk setting to the max level and perfects it. Psycho Pass does. It's kind of like Minority Report, but I recommend that to anyone who likes like science fiction. And then another sci-fi one. This took me a few tries to get past the first episode, which a lot of TV shows, anime or normal shows, take me a few tries to get past the first episode. But Steins Gate,
yep,
is so unbelievably good. Like I don't want to talk too much about it, dude. I love time travel too. The plot is so intricate and complicated. I love shows that like don't give a... I don't know the word. Like, don't hand you everything. Like, you got to think about it.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, and I don't normally like eccentric characters, but the main character of Steins Gate is, like, amazing. That's it for me.
I mean, I watched a few episodes. I haven't gotten too deep into it yet, but it's on the queue, as are a million shows, but...
Alright, hold on. Let me add in another thing. Steins Gate has, like, a second season, quote-unquote, called Steins Gate 0. But this is what I love about this show. It's not a second season. There's Steins Gate, where the whole story plays out, right? And then there's Steins Gate 0, where if one thing happened differently, the entire like timeline changes and the story changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a different... What would have happened if this happened type thing.
Yeah, and it's phenomenal.
Topic for a different episode, but because of the events in Steins Gate and how well Steins Gate did time travel, that plays into my critique on Tokyo Revengers, but that's a different topic for a different day.
Alright, I really want to hear that, so we need to add that in. But
yeah, throw it in the notes.
How do you feel about Erased?
I haven't seen Erased.
Because Erased and Tokyo Avengers have almost an identical concept of time travel.
I'll have to look.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. It's a phenomenal show, but I understand if that's the problem you have at Tokyo Revengers. I'll agree, because Steins Gate time travel, I don't think it can ever be matched again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I've got one show to recommend for the day. Bring more to the table next week, but Jormungand. It's on Funimation.
That's good.
Yeah, it's really good. About a child mercenary who hates arms dealers, but he's crazy with a gun and ends up working for an international arms dealer himself. So it's definitely an interesting show. Great action scenes, and I like the character development in the shows too. So it's definitely worth a watch.
What was the name of that one again?
But that Jormungand, Jormungand.
Gotcha.
I'm terrible at
It's-
pronouncing stuff. So,
It's really good, Kirk. Yeah, I definitely also second that recommendation.
Yeah.
yeah, and it doesn't go on too long, so it's one of those shows that you can kind of watch it through, and then you don't have to worry about keeping up with it. Got a lot of those shows tagged off, but all right. We got any last comments or anything? Any big look forwards to? I think next week we're gonna dive into a top 10 list between all of us.
I would.
We're still debating the.
Let's go with our top threes, because top 10's quite a bit to talk about.
Or top
I
five.
guarantee we're gonna go at it next week. Then
We'll do top five, and this way it gives us a little bit to talk about because I know it's hard to narrow down top threes,
Well, Jake's got his top three.
especially with specific. We already know it's
What was
number
that?
one on like every list.
Yeah,
So
Jake's just like,
talking
what?
about One Piece.
No, I'm talking about Dragon Ball.
How would it not be number one?
One Piece, Dragon Ball, I don't know. Yeah, I can name your top five right off the bat, but we won't go there.
Name them.
all right. Well, we'll save that for next week.
Name them right now.
We'll save that for next week. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for listening. We are gonna try to get a email or mailbag or some sort of something set together in the next few weeks once we get going here. This way we can get some mail and comments from all of you guys, and we'll get some social media together maybe, and
Yeah, I'll
try to get some questions from everybody and topics or what people want to hear or don't want to hear, and
I'll rip a
Go
Discord
from
together
there.
too.
yeah, we'll get a Discord together, try to get some people in. Like I said, this is our first episode, so thanks for sticking with us. We are going to iron out the kinks every week as we go along, Still a learning process for all of us, so thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. Night, guys.